Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is Andre.
And I'm Allie. And we are back, baby.
Back for another episode of Love is Blind.
On the Love is Blind podcast.
Love is Blind podcast. We previously spoke about the episode, which was previously on
the
Love is Blind podcast. We watched the episode called Higher Love.
Hi.
Bring me a higher love.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Not bad. Not bad, guys.
No, you're right.
I don't know.
And we are about to jump into episode 2, which is The Hunger Games of Love.
Yes. A shocking event puts 3 participants in a difficult position. As one pair opens up about their childhoods, another takes their bond to the next level.
And another volunteers as tribute.
Another volunteers as
that's my little Hunger Games joke.
I know, I got it. Yeah. Thoughts on this ep overall before we dive in?
Thoughts on this ep overall? Tricky. Look, there's parts of this that
It's the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Like, I was really hoping Johnny here, who we begin with, was going to end up where he ended up. I think it's the one couple that you're like, cool. There's I don't see any red flags. You guys seem to get like this. This may genuinely be a romance, and you guys are gonna be great together.
Yeah.
And we can only hope that actually continues. But overall, yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was, Matt gets his comeuppance, but let's go by it scene by scene.
Let's figure it out. Okay.
Okay. Well, you asked me, so I should ask you. What did you think of this episode?
Reciprocity. Well, I wasn't expecting you to ask me back. I'm out of here.
Oh, it's like talking to a wall.
Whoa, I'm talking to a wall now. Well, yes, I overall think I liked the episode. I mean, we'll dive in. Yeah, I was happy with where it ended up. I'll say that.
That's fair.
But where it starts is with our man Johnny, playing chess by himself,
which is a thing I used to do.
Notably, it does not start with a follow-up on the cliffhanger they left us at the end of the last episode.
Yes. Yeah, they
it was
definitely
like, surprise, Matthew's been a player. Also, unrelatedly, here's Johnny playing chess by himself. So it's like, okay, cool.
I really felt seen by Johnny playing chess by himself.
Because apparently Andre did this a lot when
I was a little child growing up.
Yes, it's very cute. It's very cute. But there's just general, like, this is life in the pods. And then we have, I almost forgot about these two. Laura.
Is it Jeremy?
Jeremy. I think it's Jeremy. It's like Timothée Chalamet. Jeremy Chalamet. Who is like, I've got a big old personality. And then he talks with Laura and they bond. Oh, yes. They bond over maybe being unofficially diagnosed with OCD. I can't tell if they're using it like in the colloquial sense, and mental health worker, I'm like, let's not minimize that experience, but who knows, like she might have actually had it. She said she was not formally diagnosed when she was a kid, but anyway, that rant aside, they seem to be getting along well. They appreciate how clean the other is. And there's some chemistry in bonding over there. Like, yeah, we could do this. It's like good first date energy, right?
Yeah, he's wearing a Henley, which I just found out what it is based on the thing that he's wearing. I'm assuming that is what a Henley is. And he talks about Hawaiian shirts.
It was fine. It was totally fine.
It was fine. He gives me a weird energy, though. And yeah, I don't know what it is about him, but he gives me a strange energy. But, he's clean. He has an immaculate 4-bedroom house that he likes to point out quite quickly.
Right.
And then he immediately kind of acts up like, I don't own it. I just rent it. But
yeah. I mean, I think there's like a relief in being able to be your weird self with somebody. He does totally mess her up with Sarah, I think.
Yeah, he calls her by the wrong name. So that's an interesting little...
Yeah. And then he tries to cover it up by being like psych, and she's not buying it, and like good on you, Laura. Like,
good on you, because he also then in the next thing admits that he was like, oh yeah, I tried to cover up for it, but totally failed.
Yeah. So I mean, he seems like he'd be a lot to date, Yeah. I mean, maybe he's the life of the party guy that you want. He's not doing it for me. I'm not invested in I don't want to say like this character, even though he's like a real human being.
Right.
But there's an element of, the celebrity distancing, and I just don't at this point I just don't care as much.
Yeah, we don't know him yet.
To be honest.
Yeah.
By the way, please don't mention that in our 5-star reviews.
I mean, yeah.
But that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And feelings are neither good nor bad. They're just feelings. Who I do care about is our visit again with Johnny and Amy.
And she's like, I celebrate 3 kings. And he's like, you know what? I don't think I've ever celebrated that. And she's like, yeah, that's because it's a Hispanic thing.
Yeah.
And you probably don't. And then he sings the 3 Kings.
I think this is where she opens up about her brother with autism spectrum disorder and ADHD too. I think I spoiled last.
Yeah, we totally spoiled that. We brought that up in the previous episode, thus also spoiling the fact that we had seen part of the second.
I know! Fans.
Ooh, sorry, guys.
We see you. We had started watching a little bit of this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't finish the episode, all right?
We didn't, no. But, but
apologies.
The fact that she opens up in this very specific way about like her brother, and also wanting to take care of her brother, mm-hmm. and he like empathizes with her a lot, and especially based on the relationship he has with his siblings, which seems to be very, very important. So it's kind of cool to see them like getting along and kind of like getting this
bonding about being outsiders and getting closer. Yeah, I like them. I like them. I think we're supposed to like them. Every season needs one. Every season needs one couple we can believe in. Mm-hmm. We had Lauren and Cameron. Season 2, they tried to do it with Danielle and Nick. Couldn't believe in him. Shouldn't have. Season 3 was Alexa and Brennan, which you hear things after that season. Season 4 was like everybody, but I guess Brett and Tiffany. And when there's not a couple you can believe in, the season's not as good. Oh no, we had Milton and Lydia. Yeah.
Milton and Lydia in season 5.
But there wasn't with them, it was more like a slow burn.
Yeah, and there was also they had some issues.
Yeah. But I think they might be setting up Amy and Johnny as our couple we can believe in.
Right. Remember how there was another Johnny?
I sure do.
Season? That was a very different vibe.
I said John. Yeah.
But anyway, coming back to this current episode, we do finally see a little bit of follow-up on the Matt AD
Amber. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's Matthew only, by the way.
The emphasis isn't on the D. It's not AD. It's AD, right? Am I missing this?
I think it's AD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I overthinking this?
I don't know. I think you might be appropriately thinking this.
Okay.
I just think it might be AD. Yeah.
Anyway, she is saying that she's feeling kind of goofy having been played by a Matt, which 100% makes sense.
Also, he's very clear that it's Matthew.
Yes. He is very clear that he's Matthew to the guys,
Yeah.
And, we do get a little bit of sight of Amber. It's very unclear whether she's able to overhear that or not.
Yeah.
And then she, AD's mentioning Clay as well. And, we've already spoken about him. He seems to have some of his own potential issues about the way, like, he just is very invested in, like, looks to a certain extent. I like that AD uses the term fix-a-hoe.
Fix-a-hoe.
It's very good. I snaps to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a great idea to be like, oh, I feel played by this one guy, so I'm going to go get married to this other guy I had all these red flags about.
Yeah.
It just makes me think, like, the pods must be a surreal experience. Like, you're not right in your mind going through that experience,
Yeah. And then we have the conversation between AD and Matthew, and in which
you hated this.
I hated this because he's to me it seems like he's trying to control the narrative and realize I first of all, I don't think he expected that the women were going to be talking amongst each other about anything. I think he was like, well, I'm not going to talk to anybody about anything, so they're not going to talk to anybody about anything. And I think he's may have been taken caught off guard by this, by her bringing it up. And he's like, well, the things I said to her weren't the things that I said to you, even though, Amber described pretty specific language about, like, wanting to, like, get her dad's permission and, like, wanting to leave right now. And now he seems to be taking it back to be like, well, I didn't say it as hard as I did it to you. And to me, that's just kind of like, it's felt a little bit controlling, like wanting to regain a little bit of control of the situation, but it also was like, it seemed a little manipulative to me. Yeah. And again, I'm speaking from just my take on Matthew, which, as we've already spoken about, is a little bit different than your take on Matthew.
Although I also agree it's manipulative.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't condone Matthew's behavior. I just think it's less malicious than you think it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can grant that.
Yeah. I see him as someone who's probably on the spectrum, who's, like, extremely overwhelmed and shutting down, but even though I have, like, compassion for that, I don't think it makes it okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
like, it's not cool that he's saying the same stuff to these two
and then
ladies, and then, like,
he's kind
trying
of
to flip it. Yeah, and he's like through this, like, this whole episode, where it's like, no, it's that, or it's not. And I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to the final scene of the eps, but
he also turns it on her at one point, which I thought was like, he's like, oh, but I'm scared that you're into other people too. And I was like,
I know.
You're all dating here. Like, it just seemed like this weird, like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I just, it didn't feel good.
Yeah, and I was reflecting on this because I had such a strong reaction to Uche last season. And arguably, from a pure behavior standpoint, Matthew's doing similar things where he's like not being accountable and turning it back on the women. And I'm having not a great reaction to Matthew, but a much less strong one. And I don't exactly know what it is. I don't know if it's like I just see this scared little boy with Matthew, whereas Uche, I didn't see that, but it's something I'm like gonna have to pay attention to for my reaction. Although I don't know if we're gonna see Matthew anymore. So
yeah, that's unclear.
Yeah.
I mean, he also ends this scene by kind of saying, like, if I broke things off with everybody else, I hope you'd be ecstatic tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he kind of then says, like, okay, I'm making this decision. I have to make a decision right now. And he seems to be implying that he is going to break things off with everybody else, like specifically with Amber. That's what he's saying is like.
Yes, that's what he's suggesting.
Yeah.
Without committing to it. Yeah.
And then he says like, I'm going to decide tomorrow.
He's like, for sure bad news, and don't, it's not what you want, right? But I don't know. I think in general in life, I have a soft spot for people I think are on the spectrum, and that might be factoring in.
Yeah,
what's going on. I'm not officially diagnosing this person.
Yeah, no official diagnose.
Heavily edited, but
I did really
I do know that about myself. Yeah.
I also really did appreciate AD's reaction, like the fact that we got to see AD's reaction in the other room, just as he was talking, just like her kind of being like, God damn, like,
dude.
And then Clay follows, and he begins just pacing the room aggressively, just like in this weird semi-apology. I don't know if I'd call it an apology. Explanation.
I think he's apologized. He's like, I'm sorry that I went there with the looks thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, their conversation for sure takes a turn in a moment.
Yeah.
Where she's like, cool, thanks. I have to imagine that conversation happened in between his apology and her being like, I'm tripping over this other guy.
Yeah.
But I understand why he's like, what the hell?
I think I'm also just thrown by his energy where he's like just pacing and just walking around the room the entire time that they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how to read that energy. But yeah, their conversation is a little, I don't know. Like you're kind of saying, it's goes off the rails, particularly when she says that it's between him and Matthew, and he takes a second to remember who Matthew is, and then is like,
nah, girl.
No.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm seeing about Matthew. And he seems to almost take that as like an offense that that's the guy that she's considering. Like he's like, you're comparing, like I think in his mind is like, you're comparing me to him. But it's a wild reaction.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, they are like the two most different people in the world. So I can understand him being like, what? Like, what do you see in the two of us,
Yeah.
And well, especially since Clay only gets the version of Matthew that's very awkward. He doesn't get the part that's saying, I'm going to, ask your family for permission and, not family, solely dad, and take you out of here and find him, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can see on this show, too, the feeling of like, oh, wow, someone's going to propose to me. Feeling like such a relief. It's like getting last picked on the baseball team, like anybody's going to pick you for the baseball team. You're going to be into them. If that's not relatable to you listeners, then like a little bit, we didn't grow up the same. I was going to be stronger, and then I was reminded not to alienate our fan base.
I don't know if I know that feeling
of being last picked.
I think I made it to the United States at a point
this is a US
where
thing. Yeah.
I don't think I got to experience this. Really.
Yeah. I was an indoor kid, and anyway.
Indoor
I was
kid.
picked last a couple times. It's not a great feeling. I wasn't always picked last, and I was really good at volleyball, just so you know. But that's neither here nor there. Back to the show.
I love the fact that Clay just kind of goes like, I'm rocking with you, but I'm going to leave now. I'll see you tomorrow. I am done with this conversation and I cannot continue it. And just kind of leaves AD to cry it out.
Yeah, I mean,
and I was very confused by his like just kind of like not wanting to continue to hash it out, but just kind of saying like, nope, I'm done with this conversation. We'll talk again tomorrow. You figure things out.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in this couple, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we compare it to like Lydia and Milton, where Lydia was sad about, God, I don't remember his name now, Izzy. And Milton really supported her through it. Like that's a good thing. I think AD is wanting someone that's not Matthew, and Clay is a Shake. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith for that couple, but they'll probably get engaged.
Yeah.
You know?
Meanwhile, we get AD telling Amber the lowdown about Matthew and just being like, this is the thing that he said. He said this to me. And Amber is, you know, I think she said it like living out her worst fears. Yeah. And then, you know, Clay comes back with, you know, his own version of this, of just kind of being like, you know, Matt is some kind of sleeper.
Sleeper hit.
Yeah.
And then we have the first introduction to Kenneth, the principal, who we've never seen before this moment, but who comes in with like a very empathetic, wise thing he says. And then we end up finding out he's in his own little romance.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like the Renee, where he's sort of the best supporting actor of everybody else's romance. But no, he gets his own storyline.
Yeah. I mean, Clay is also talking to another guy who, I don't know if we're ever going to find out his name. The guy with the guy with the round glasses.
Unforgettable.
Yeah, I mean,
very
look,
forgettable.
Some of these folks are never going to get their story.
Can't get attached to everybody in this show. Yeah. But it turns out that I love this, like, when AD tells Amber what's up. I love that their take is like, Matthew sucks. It just, as a woman who's seen this go down so many times where the women come at each other, I'm like, I love that not only did you put the fault where the fault should lie, but it closed with like, we love each other. Yeah. I was like, oh.
They hug it out women. And they're like, what's wrong with men? And I'm like, snaps.
And Amber's like, I'm done.
I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Which I get.
Yeah, she pieces out.
She's like, I was kind of here for something real, and this sucks. Yeah, but speaking of our boy Kenneth
and Brittany. It's Brittany. Okay. They seem to be hitting it off. I don't know, you know, is this day 1? Is this day 5? I don't know. But he's had a tough time, you know?
Yeah. So is she.
Yeah. Both of them have gone through some
early loss.
Yeah, early loss and having to grow up very quickly. And Brittany's kind of very clear as to what she wants, and Ken is like, cool, that's kind of what I can be that, you know.
And I think she was a teacher and he's a principal, and they both kind of get it. Yeah, this might be a true, like, love blind couple, you know? Like, I don't think this couple would have ever interacted IRL, but I'm really happy to see them here, and I hope that they make it. They'll probably get engaged, you know?
Yeah. Also, you know, they want twins, and they have the twin background, and because they both have a twin background, genetically they're more likely to get twins, so there's that for them. Like, they might get, I mean,
they're in it to twin it. Yeah. That's why I was
Brittany describes some like pretty graphic death of her aunt, which was really
it's not funny. I don't know why I laughed.
Yeah, I mean, it caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, that's a lot. And then we're back to my favorite couple, Johnny and Amy. you know, they're doing great. They're sushiing. You know, she's talking about beans, rice, and chicken, which is fantastic. I love me some Puerto Rican food. I love me some mofongo. Oh, man. I wish I had some mofongo. Anyway, I do like that they seem to be like they're supporting each other. They're at the point where they're supporting each other, and this is when he says he loves her.
Yep, it slips on out.
It slips out.
And it's cute.
It's really
and she loves him too.
Adorable.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're cute together. I also like that she's like, I'm very unhealthy, and he's like, that's cool. I love you, you know? Which I'm not like condoning being unhealthy, but I like that. Like I could see a different person being like, oh, that's a red flag because like, what do you look like, you know?
Yeah.
And I like that his response is that he doesn't care.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're moseying along with happy times. Then we return to a love triangle that happened in the first ep, where we come back to Jimmy and Chelsea. Jimmy apologizes for his reaction, and they both seem to have had a little bit of time and to be feeling better about it. There's a lot more chemistry here. I think this is where she says she looks like Megan Fox, right? And
yes.
He's like, jackpot.
Which is a little, you know, again, I feel like they're breaking the Love is Blind rules.
Yeah, I know.
You shouldn't be like...
That rubbed me the wrong way, too.
Well,
yeah.
I look like this really hot person, so just, you know, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And he also describes a really cute, perfect day. Mm-hmm. You know, you and I love a perfect...
Smashing. Yeah. So what is he calling smushing?
Smushing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have fun. I don't know. Like, this couple seems like they have fun. I don't know that I think they have substance. Know what I mean? Like, they could probably high five and like play pool or something together. I don't know. They both seem to very quickly want to move away from uncomfortable topics. Like Jimmy's like, can we change the subject? Can we change the subject? And she is only too happy to change the subject. So if they do get engaged, I think that would be an issue.
Yeah. It's a little unclear how things are going to go with him, because I feel like the Megan Fox comment, I think, made him be like, well, okay.
Guess who's back in the game?
I think you've just jumped up in ranks. And then, you know, the conversation that happens in the very following scene, unfortunately, I don't think changes anything. You know, like it just pushes him more towards Chelsea.
Jessica?
Yeah, I think Jessica opening up to him, I think, especially right after he was told that Chelsea looks like Megan Fox, is just going to be like, well, like, you know, she sounds like simpler and easier to deal with. And
hot Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. There's not like this background that I have to like potentially think about, which is really unfortunate, because that background shouldn't like discount anybody. But, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm seeing it.
Right. I kind of see. I agree with your assessments, whether right or wrong. I think he has empathy for Jessica and maybe doesn't want to hold it against her, but there's a lot of like having to get there with her, whereas things with Chelsea probably just feel a lot easier, you know? And that's I get it. Yeah, even he's saying in this next scene that, like, you know, he could get there with a kid, but it's not what he thought. It's not what he's been prepping for mentally.
Yeah. I have to say I'm a little bit obsessed with the scene where Matthew and Jimmy are sitting next to each other and they're talking, and somebody walks by it just does the little side pass, and he throws him a lime because it genuinely, I was like, that's the kind of thing that would show up in scripted television. Where, the bros are talking about it, and then they one of them
tosses lime.
One of them passes a lime to the other guy, smoothly catches it and walks away.
Also, the citrus is looking a little rough. It's a little worse for wear.
Citrus gets citrus gets a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get Jessica being real sad, missing her daughter.
Yeah.
It must be really difficult because they're gone for a long time in this show. Overall, it's a big commitment to be on this show,
And to his credit, when she clearly shows so much love for her daughter, I think that makes him warmer to her. I think he does like her. It's
totally.
Just
No, totally.
How much reality am I ready for?
Yeah, exactly. It is that. It isn't that. I don't think he's scared of it in any way, but I think that Chelsea presents him with a fantasy, whereas Jessica has, to your point, a little bit more reality. It's a difficult reality that she's been through, and I think there's a good chance that they would be a good couple, but. Yeah, I do wonder what his decision-making process is going to be after this. But they still, at the end of the scene, it's still a little bit unclear what direction Jimmy is leaning.
Yep. Where he'll shimmy? Okay, all right. Let's move on.
Will Jimmy shimmy this way or that way?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're well, I guess we'll see where that goes. Meanwhile, we've got Trevor, Mr. Mullet, and he's talking about his attraction to Chelsea. And I gotta admit, they do seem pretty.
Yeah, I like them.
They seem pretty well matched.
He seems like a good dude. They both seem fun. He seems like he's got a little bit more, I don't want to say emotional depth than Jimmy, because I think Jimmy's got a lot of emotional depth, but ability to be with difficult emotions and relate to them, which is funny that I think this, because their conversation is so light here, but there's there's a way that I think Trevor seems more grounded in who he is. Yeah.
I also am, I did note this, and maybe this has brought me a little bit closer to Trevor, is the fact that both he and I have a little bit of seborrheic dermatitis on our head. So
you're just everybody who's you're liking. You're Johnny played chess.
Hey, look, we love to see ourselves reflected in others.
Yeah.
And I recognize the difficulties of a
little dermatitis,
a little upper forehead rash.
There are dozens of us.
I get it. I get its difficulty. The
Be
guy,
strong, Andre.
The guy's strong. He has a mullet and kind of a pretty smile.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like that he's a little bit like Baloo.
Yes, I was literally about to say, when he opens when she says that he likes a mullet and he his jaw drops open, I was like, he looks like a Disney character.
Yeah, he's a little doofy. I'm into it. Yeah. I like him. We'll see. Which way will she go? Oh, and then we have, is this the scene?
This is the scene
where Amy and Johnny get engaged.
They get hitched. I didn't, even though it's now been 2 episodes and there hasn't been an engagement, I didn't expect that this was going to be that scene. Yeah,
I think it felt early in the ep, and I think there is another scene after this, so that's This might not even be the engagement scene, to be honest. There might be connecting.
Oh, no. This is totally the engagement because he gives her flowers, the peonies. And then she's like, I think what it is that normally when people are engaged, they're like coming in and like, I'm wearing it. Like he's wearing a tux.
Pacing.
Yeah, he's wearing a tux. She's wearing like an evening gown. But in this one, she's just kind of like she's got a little summer dress on, and he's got like his like lounging like tee on. Like, I'm not to say that they're looking bad. All I'm saying is that like when they walked into the scene, I didn't know it was going there, so it was pretty surprising to be like, oh, okay, you're proposing. That's cool.
I wonder if it was not day 10 that this happened.
I do wonder about that. And then we did have a brief discussion about like what happens if you get engaged before day 10. Do you leave? Do you hang out? I don't know.
We've answered our own question. Yeah. But then we have the final scene.
We have Matthew and the Matthew and AD breakdown. First of all, we get a little bit of Matthew and Clay just kind of like looking around, looking at each other in the men's quarters, and then we get the AD Matthew scene where Matthew's coming in seemingly very distraught about Amber. So whatever if the goal had been for him to choose today, and the choice was going to be I have abandoned everyone else in favor of AD. It's really unclear what's happening. Like, is he crying because he dumped Amber? Or is he crying because Amber left and he wanted to be with Amber? And now he's kind of choosing the second person. Like, his emotional responses are throwing me off.
I think this only proves my interpretation.
Okay, your interpretation. Okay.
I think he's like just, completely overwhelmed. There's supposed to be rules that are being followed. They're not being followed. He doesn't know how to soothe himself. So he's just trying to keep like a beach ball, afloat. By like, how can I make this problem go away? I just view,
yeah.
I just see an overwhelmed dude that is like kind of on the spectrum. I mean, that's my take.
That's fair.
That's my take.
I do like the line exchange where he says, I think Amber leaving was about me. And AD says, well, that would be audacious of you.
Yeah, she is like not having it, which I will say, like, I don't know what she's wanting from him in this scene. Maybe some accountability or an apology or something, but she rightfully so is coming in hot with like, you better come correct or I'm out. And like, no fault to her. That is absolutely appropriate. But also like, whatever she thinks she's going to be able to get from him, you're not going to be able to get it from him. This guy, like when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Like, this is not going to be how you get your closure from this dude.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was kind of going in, like, to your point, that she was going to probably consider him seriously if he was just going to be like, cool, Amber's gone, I broke it off because I clearly only want to be with you. But the fact that he comes in and he's kind of like sniffling and he's like, Amber left.
Yeah.
And I think that she's just kind of like, whatever. And then
like,
he
you
says,
want me to support you through this?
Yeah. And then he says the line that blew my mind, which is, I think I now got the entire country of America on my side. To which she rolls her eyes so hard you can hear it across the pods. I loved that. I was so happy that she was like, come on. And yeah, it also becomes a little bit clear that he's just kind of like very much aware of the image that he's putting off. And he's like, I've got cameras on me. I broke people's hearts on TV, on national television, as he puts it. Yeah, I think he's very aware of the fact that he's on a show, which, I guess I should have should have noted when he was like, I'm not here to become some C-list celebrity, that he like this is a thing that he was probably just very aware of,
But you might be, Matthew, because so far you're the villain of this show. Yeah. I also think that hyperfixation on being on television it's all there, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like, I'm out of here. And then he's like, I'm going to go find Amber. It's like, okay, dude. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, he does say he's going to go find Amber. Which is a wild thing to say after the moves he's pulled.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Again, it's that beach ball thing. He's like, I don't know how to make this all right, And I guess that's maybe why I like him more than I liked Uche. Like, I see Matthew is like knowing he'd done wrong and like really overwhelmed and like totally maxed over capacity of what he can handle. Uche just seemed so vicious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we end with what is about to be the grand reveal between Amy and Johnny.
Amy and Johnny
were lovers.
They're so cute together.
Yes. Okay. And
we don't really
know what they think, because Netflix, that's where they cut the episode off.
Yeah, that's their cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, that
little Hades hair that he's got going.
It's very unlikely that the very next scene in the first episode is going to be like, oh no.
I know, we know it's going to go well.
Of course, right? They're going to run into each other's arms, and it's going to be beautiful.
And it's going to be awesome. So that's a good way to start the next step.
And if that's not what happens, then we'll eat our tongues. Well, shoot, guys. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Not. But I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to be right. I would wager we're going to be right.
We should be right.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is episode 2.
Episode 2, Hunger Games of Love.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe and give us 5-star ratings.
And cute comments.
Engage with us. We would like friends. We're doing this for friends. We're here to make friends.
I'm not here to win. I'm here to make friends.
I'm not here to win. I'm not here to win. I'm not here to find love. I'm here to make friends.
Yeah. It's
We do love engaging with you, though. No, seriously. It really does make our day. And yeah.
That's the only reason we do this, and improv comedy, and
we're nothing without you.
Yeah.
We have a deep hole in our souls that we need to be filled through validation, and please do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't feel like addressing that through healthier methods, so please continue to do that for us.
All right, y'all. Till episode 3. I'm going to continue to say Happy Valentine's, because it's still Valentine's Day. Still Valentine's Day. Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
And I love you all. Well, I don't know you all.
Not in a different way.
In a different way. Okay. Bye.
Bye.